Welcome out to eTourism Summit. We have a series of discussions we're having with some folks who presented. We pulled them aside for a little chit-chat on the side, and today we have Dan. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Hey, I am Dan McCoy. I am the Chief Innovation Officer at the Transportation Security Administration.
Chief what?
Innovation Officer.
I'll say this gently. People don't think of innovation a lot when they think of TSA. Tell me, you had a three-pronged approach to what you do.
Three-pronged approach, yeah. I'll do it in reverse this time. I'll keep myself on my toes. So,
all right.
First and foremost, Technocrat, right? TSA does have a pillar of technology, back-end enabled IT, operational technology in the field, and we want to see that progress forward. We want to work with commercial technology, we want to work with our traditional partners, and we want to have a wider variety of ways that we do screening and ways that we help our back-end workforce.
Is your technology all done in-house, or do you have outsourced vendors doing this for you?
All outsourced vendors.
Okay.
So we have a large group right now of OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, who provide our CT machines or computer tomography machines.
And are those proprietary things just for TSA, or do other companies or organizations get to use them?
Other companies and organizations use the major components of it. So when you travel internationally, more likely than not, you will be going through similar equipment that TSA has. The differentiation lies really in what is allowable and the ways that either the Europeans, the British, or the Americans allow certain what we call prohibited items through the checkpoint. So there's different algorithms that run on the equipment that will flag and identify specific items. And
on that note, I mean, internationally, are all countries pretty much using the same technologies, or is there a race to be first, or what's the landscape there?
Shades of gray. Great, good question. We actually did recently enter into what we're calling an open architecture agreement with most of Europe.
Like shareware, basically, right?
Yeah, something along those lines. So what we kind of realized is we're all kind of headed towards the same goal, right? Elevating the security baseline, and we want to do it in tandem, and we want to make sure that we're doing it as fast and as efficiently as possible. So through an open standard architecture, we can work with foreign countries, we can work with foreign regulators, and we can work, most importantly, with industry to say, these are kind of our open expectations. And we want you all to build to this so that for us, we have greater interoperability of systems, and we have a greater ability to, I'll use the word, innovate around specific aspects at speed. So when you think
it's fluid.
Software.
It's fluid.
Yes.
You're changing. You're forever updating, or at least it seems like you're forever updating.
And that's the hope, right? Yeah. So, equipment takes a long time, and we do have some parts of our operational stack that, it's physics, right? It's the evolution of physics of how much scanning you can do, but when you look at things like cyber resiliency, when you look at things like AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, we can pull in from commercial industry, and we can pull that horizontal technology into our vertical and say, they're moving really, really fast. Right. We want to move just as fast. How do we do that? And for us, open architecture is one of the key ways that we've done it.
So Technocrat, one. What are the other two?
I know I'm not supposed to use the term, but revolutionary, right? So,
again, I'll just say gently, it's not a word most people associate with TSA.
It's not a thing, and it's an overzealous hat that I put on myself. We, within government, right, it's very hard sometimes to innovate in highly regulated industries, but we know that the expectation is there. So how do you incentivize, how do you educate, and how do you authorize the workforce to innovate alongside of you? Right. I came into TSA with a background in innovation. I didn't come in with a background in security, in aviation security. So the best ideas...
Were you a geek?
I was kind of a geek. I was a geek about a lot of different things, but the best ideas about what we should be doing aren't going to come from me. Right. They're going to come from my team curating problem sets and understanding the challenges.
That is a great answer, by the way.
And that's we're in Las Vegas right now. Yeah. The officer at the checkpoint in Las Vegas has a better sense of where innovation will help him or her than I will. My job is to facilitate them being able to take that action and then scale it to all 440 airports.
Give them the tools and technology they need. Let them do their job.
It's never fair to say to somebody, go innovate, and not tell them what you want, not give them the tools or the permission structure really to go do that. So that's what we're mainly focused on right now.
The last one, the B word.
The B word. Yeah. I hate the B word, but it's true. It's a bureaucrat.
Okay.
I am a public servant. Yeah. So within government, there are ways that you have to do innovation. So I don't get money unless I go through the traditional appropriation cycle.
And it's a fight to determine and prove you need this money.
Do I need it more than some other program? How do I kind of put a fingerprint on other programs and say, the innovation team thinks that this is relevant? So we really have been working to do some bureaucracy busting, but at the same time understand this is how we need to get to our ends. This is how we need to meet our goals. And
bureaucracy busting. I love that. Tell me, what is it? What keeps you up at night the most?
Oh, tough question to answer.
Yeah.
But it's speed. It really is. It is the way by which we can move quickly in response to a new opportunity or a new threat. And I think one of my main roles as the innovation officer, TSA has three kind of commandments that we work by.
Okay.
3 major mission sets, and
I like the threes here.
It's 3. It's everything's
okay.
is 3. One of them is accelerate action, and I think for us, right, we look at that as we want to innovate as fast as possible. We want to bring new technology, new process, new capabilities to folks, so that we.
Do you believe in failing fast too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think so one thing that we always joke about on my team is you have to read a lot. You have to read. Your life experiences alone will not teach you enough about what you need to do. You have to read. And there's a book, No Rules, the Reed Hastings book on Netflix.
Right.
And you have to expect that you're going to fail sometimes.
Right.
And it's never a question of should you celebrate failure, but you should have a nice wake. You should talk about what you've learned. And you should move forward, because an experiment that fails that you didn't learn anything is actually a failure.
Okay. Speed. What's the second one?
Speed. So keeping you up at night, right? Is really just the agility by which we can respond to new threats. So we have an amazing team that does this, but we can always be better. So how do we make sure that the screening that you're getting, tomorrow, if you're flying out tomorrow, is better than the screening you got on Sunday, the day you landed? And we're in an ever-changing world. There's ever-changing threats. How do we make sure that we're always staying on the front lines? And I think that's the agility and speed that we bring to the security structure.
I'm guessing, without spilling state secrets here, but I'm guessing there's a TSA is probably like an iceberg. We just see the tip at the top. At the
Absolutely.
That the majority of what that organization does is not known to the average traveler.
And we always joke about this now. I mean, everybody experiences the checkpoint, right? Everybody trying to travel through the checkpoint. TSA has equity in cargo, so the way that cargo is screened as it gets loaded onto planes. We have equities in the surface transportation world. So over-the-road buses, metros, we convene panels of the best practices and the best ways and the standards that you should set. If you take the metro in San Francisco, I think you're from Tampa. I don't know if Tampa
St. Pete,
St. Pete, even better.
No metros in Florida.
No metros in Florida, though.
So you dig down 3 feet and you hit
just
water.
Hit water.
So that's good. But it goes far beyond the airport.
It goes far beyond. So we have integration, we have support mechanisms for all of these things. So when I started, one of the first groups I worked with was our surface security group, and we kind of said, what is our role when we talk to WMATA in DC and MBTA in Boston and MTA in New York? And really, we have an extensive ecosystem that we want to build with all of these groups, because the transportation realm isn't just the checkpoint, right? It's everything. So
it's the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
Right,
yeah.
So there was speed and agility. Was there a third in that triptych there?
In the trip? No, I mean, those are really it. As far as what keeps me up at night, I mean, we have burgeoning threats, homegrown terrorism, white supremacy. These are things that we're now tracking at the same level that we've tracked other things in years past. So from a real tangible threat vector, I mean, that's something that concerns me is, the organic homegrown threat. What are you most proud of? Thus far?
Yeah.
Oh, so my team, when we came in, we sat down and we said, what does the agency need? People just say, go innovate, but we don't really know what the agency wants. So we did about 12 months of discovery, and we found out a few things. And one was, like I was saying before, people are told to innovate, but no one's really told what that means. Right. So thus far, my team has set up a design thinking community of practice and a design thinking training, which is a whole new philosophy for government, right? A lot of people that we've spoken to say, never thought that government would care about human-centered design, and design thinking, and rapid prototyping and extreme user, but it's brought this whole new mindset to a lot of very traditional offices to say, creativity isn't just rewarded. It might actually be the way to go here. It might be looking at an end user. It might be looking at a non-traditional partner and saying, we never would have thought of it this way, but we actually spend less money, less time, and get a greater outcome.
What a great way to think of it, though.
And that's it.
You know, that creativity isn't an option; it's a requirement.
That's exactly it. So we've worked with a lot of teams that say, I've been chewing on this problem for months, years, and I'm at a loss. And we just say, scrap everything you thought, take a design approach. What are you trying to accomplish? What is the minimally viable, testable option to let you know that you're headed in the right direction? What can you do with no time or money?
Yep.
And then start there.
That makes me feel so much better talking to you. No, honestly,
as a taxpayer?
No, as a flyer, right? As someone who depends on what you do every day to, that trust level is there. The number of people that's involved in what you do every day and the number of complexities that's involved.
Yep.
But listen, thank you for being here at ETS and thanks for connecting everything and thanks for doing what you do, Dan.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
We'll hopefully see you next year at ETS. We're in Vegas this year at ETS. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
Appreciate it.